You're watching TVC News at 7. Nigeria is facing huge humanitarian crisis triggered by a long-running armed conflict in the northeast.
Absolutely. Borno, Adamawa and Yobe states are the worst hit. Some statistics say over 2 million people have been displaced in the northeast region of the country. Now, there have been several allegations of the displaced people being exploited and abused by those positioned to see to their best interest. Although they are happy about finding makeshift camps to stay far away from the communities which are entangled by deep levels of insecurity, they yearn for an end to armed conflicts and an opportunity to be home again. Now, to ensure improvement in their welfare, the federal government has set up the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. We're joined right now by Sadiya Umar Farouq, Nigeria's Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, to tell us more on the government's action plan. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 7. Your ministry is relatively new. Help us better understand precisely what its main focus areas are.
Thank you very much for having me. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development was created on August 21st, 2019 by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari. And the core mandate of this ministry is to develop humanitarian interventions, to develop humanitarian policies, provide effective coordination of national and international humanitarian interventions, as well as to ensure strategic disaster mitigation preparedness and response, as well as to formulate and implement policies towards equity-focused social inclusion and protection of our citizens.
August, September, October, November, December, that's just about 5 6 7 months away from now. How much really has your ministry done in helping to address the challenges across the country, particularly in the north?
Yes, the ministry is charged with the responsibility of coordinating all these humanitarian interventions. As we are aware, we have agencies of government in place that are charged with the responsibility of taking these interventions to these affected communities. Namely, we have the National Emergency Management Agency, the Northeast Development Commission, we have the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons. All these agencies are coordinated to take these interventions where we have a crisis. And the ministry is doing its best to see that we give prompt interventions to these affected populations when the need arises.
For years now, we have reported the problems being faced by Nigerian refugees in Chad, Niger, and Cameroon. What is being done to bring them back home?
Well, we have refugees who have fled out of the northeastern part of the country as a result of the insurgency. We have about 120,000 of them living in Niger, 40,000 in Chad, and the remaining living in the Republic of Cameroon. The government is putting processes and procedures of repatriating these nationals back into the country. Recently, we have sent a team to visit Chad, where we have the recent issues with refugees living there, to assess the situation and come back for us to begin the process of repatriating them back. Already, we have started the repatriation of the Cameroonian, Nigerian refugees living in Cameroon. We have repatriated some people from Adamawa State back sometime last year, and the process is still ongoing. But we must understand that this repatriation has to be voluntarily. People that indicate interest to want to return back to the country, those are the ones that we will repatriate back according to the United Nations High Commission for Refugees conventions and protocols.
The distribution of relief materials in time past have been characterized by issues of corruption. We have reported a story of certain materials meant for internally displaced persons diverted for other uses. What efforts are being made right now to ensure that those who need these things are the ones who get them?
Yes, we have processes in place, and these allegations, we have not received any formal complaints to this effect. But as a ministry, we have read out the Riot Act to the agencies concerned, and these agencies are compliant. We hope that we will not have to go through these issues of diversion of relief materials. Since I've been on board, we have not received these issues, and we know that government is very serious to sanction whoever is found guilty in this regards.
Beyond distribution of relief materials, what precisely do people in displaced camps, I'm talking about internally displaced people right now, what really do they benefit from the social investment project?
Well, these people are going to benefit, or they have started benefiting from these social investment programs. We have the youths, the graduate youths who are displaced. They have benefited from this empower program, and also the conditional cash transfer, which is targeted at poor homes, the vulnerable families, the poorest of the poor households. And we have reached out to these displaced families, because even if they are in camps, they are grouped into households. So we have reached out to them, and we're taking this conditional cash transfer intervention to these displaced families. We are also empowering them in different areas of skills, so that when they go back home, they will have something to earn a living with, and we know that very soon most of these internally displaced persons will be returned back to their communities in safety and dignity.
You have visited those affected by recent attacks in Auno. To what extent have you been able to offer them some respite?
Yes, it's quite a very unfortunate incident that happened in Auno, and if you may recall, His Excellency, Mr. President, has visited Borno State, and he directed that we should visit Auno and extend his condolence to the leaders and community members of that community, which we did. And I have directed the Northeast Development Commission to go back together with the State Emergency Management Agency and ascertain the level of damage on these communities and report back to the ministry, so that we take the immediate intervention to these people. And that has been done. Okay. We're going to look at the report very soon.
Honorable Minister, just 2 days ago, beneficiaries of the Empower teaching scheme have threatened to embark on strike. And that's a repetition of what happened October last year, after claims that they've not been paid for 3 months. Help us better understand clearly the status of payments for people engaged in this scheme.
Well, you know, there are processes and procedures, there are administrative processes. When we came on board, the Empower program was moved to the ministry in October. And that was exactly the month that we had this problem of delayed payment. We have to understand the program before we start signing for these monies. And that has been explained. Now we are also going through another phase of administrative procedure. So if there are delays, they are not intentional. And very soon these monies will be paid to these beneficiaries. And I want to assure them that this program is going to continue. We're going to expand on it, and we're going to even, enroll more beneficiaries into this program.
Are there plans to make this employment avenue permanent for those currently involved?
Well, to the best of my understanding, there has not been any agreement towards that. And these are issues that we are looking at for the futuristic exit of these Empower graduates. If you may recall, these Empower graduates were onboarded in 2016, and we have batch 1 and 2, and they're supposed to exit after 2 years. The batch 1 is still on, and the batch 2 is supposed to exit in July. So we're looking at different exit options for these people. This is what the ministry is focused on now.
What really do you have to say to those agitating for a nationwide strike? We're told they have not been paid for January. It's the 21st day of February. What really do you say to them now?
Well, I have said that if there are delays, they are not intentional. We're going through administrative procedures, and they should please look at the benefits of this program. They should, be appreciative of what the government has done, rather than to, embark on this strike that we're hearing about.
Honorable Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, Sadiya Umar Farouq, thank you for talking to us on TVC News at 7.